Live from number 5 Ola Hansen Lane in Tesano, Accra, this is Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou. Coming up. 5 persons confirmed dead with several others unaccounted for after a boat they were traveling on capsized on the Volta Lake.
The water is entering the boat and we were saying that the one should go and pack, so some of us will get down, refuse, and we were going, so the water entered the boat late, and all of us, we entered into the water.
Strong winds in Accra on Saturday morning leave 1 man injured and properties destroyed after a telephone mast collapsed at Osu.
A lot of properties have been damaged, life and property. The guy in this apartment, one of the bricks hit his head. We had to send him to the Senate Hospital before he came back. 2 cars, this car, the car just to my right is completely...
Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee to invite Energy Commission of a ban on importation of used electrical appliances.
I think that this committee should invite Energy Commission to also hear from them.
Certainly.
We are an independent arbiter. Ours is to serve the people who elected us into office, but we also want the right thing to be done. I'm sure that when we move that way, we can find a common ground so that there will be a win-win situation.
And later, 2 studios of Kumasi-based Silver FM destroyed by fire in yet another outbreak in less than 3 days, forcing management to shut down the station indefinitely.
All the electrical appliances have been raised down, including the tactical board, the touch screen, then the main console, Oxygen 9. It's very expensive. And then we have, I think, 4 or 5 cameras in the studio, and one is almost 100,000.
We are grateful that you joined us on the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We begin with a very sad news, and 5 people have been confirmed dead, while some are yet to be found in a boat disaster that occurred at the Adan estuary on Saturday, March 18. According to an eyewitness account, about 100 persons were crossing to Azizakwe, an island community, for funeral rites on a 40-seater passenger boat when the incident happened. The 5 dead persons were 3 children below age 3 and 2 women. All passengers were without life jackets. Our reporter Fred Duho traveled to the community and he's been picking up more information. Fred, what more can you tell us on this disaster?
We received the news about over 100 people traveling on a boat this morning to an island community which is known as Azizakwe, when an unfortunate incident happened and their boat capsized.
By a village a year and I came here as a national women's leader, a youth organization, a sign of a sign, Yeni Asafo, Yeni Asafo, Yebusia, Yeku, a youth organization, by a bay, who say, and confirm after posting our estuary, village, our estuary, our Adam for Azizanya, village, be a friend of Azizakwe, a honor what they see. I want to what they say. I'm from Ebusia Aka, and Sionimo, both in Dani from a bonnet boy. Ghana for Momboye, Ghana for Momboye.
This boat you see, we understand it's supposed to carry about 40 passengers, but from accounts or eyewitness accounts, it was carrying over 100 people on this boat, just going to the island. But this is the community largely. We've come, and in your shot again, you will see a police vehicle parked right there. There are policemen also in the community trying to establish what happened. The community folks are quite devastated as of now. The assembly member, NADMO, and even the military were called in quickly to conduct some search. A number of people were rescued, but unfortunately 3 children and 2 women, being adults, lost their life today when the boat capsized on the Volta River here at Azizanya in the Adan district in the Greater Accra region. About 5 people have since been confirmed dead. The victims who survived have been speaking to Citi News. Sorry. How did that thing happen?
They are plenty in the boat, and the water is entering the boat, and we were saying that the man should go and park so some of us will get down our fuse, and we were going, so the water entered the boat plenty, and all of us, we entered into the water. So I carried my baby here, and someone hurt me and pushed me, so I couldn't get the baby. They come and collect us.
So the gentleman in your shot lost the wife and the daughter in this whole disaster. So people have come to the house. He's been indoors and unable to even speak to the media. So you will see relatives, some friends and sympathizers coming across to condole. People are just not able to contain this whole news. Here within the Azizanya community, they are literally devastated by the unfortunate incident, and they are yet to come to terms with this whole disaster. So 2 people out of the 5 that passed, they are from this particular house, and the husband is in the room unable to even come to terms with this whole incident. The presiding member for the Adan East Assembly, Godwin Agude, has also been speaking to Citi News as to what really happened.
Earlier this morning around 9 a.m. to 10, we had calls. The calls were that we had some boat capsizing at Azizanya. So we quickly rushed to the place, and by the benevolence of the members of the community, they were able to rescue majority of the people. As at now, we are not too sure how many people are still in the water, but we've been able to evacuate as many as possible with the assistance of the commander of Navy there. He and his men also went in there and made sure that we were able to recover as many people as we could. As at now, like I said earlier, we are not able to tell how many are still there, but the search party is continuing. I've been told by the commander that they will continue this evening to search. Tomorrow morning they will go back. They will do this for the next 3 days, and we are hopeful that by the end of the 3 days we don't find more deaths. That's my prayer, that we don't find more deaths, because earlier the fisher folks also went in there and cast their nets, and by tradition, by casting nets, they believe they will be able to get or recover the dead bodies, but up to now they've not been able to see more bodies at the moment. We are just at the mortuary now, and at the mortuary we've been able to find 5 bodies. 3 of them are children below the ages of 2 and below, and there are 2 adults also who are women. So that's what we can say for now.
Behind me is the Adan District Hospital morgue, where 5 persons are lying dead at the moment. After the boats they were traveling on to a funeral on an island capsized. These 3 children and 2 adults, being female, couldn't make it, but the search party has been able to recover a number of people out of this whole disaster, and they've been treated at this hospital and discharged. The search party is going to continue for the next 3 days, looking out for those who might have been in danger in this water. We understand this whole incident occurred somewhere close to the estuary, and that could have also accounted for how grave this whole danger has been. My name is Fred Duo, reporting from the Adan District Hospital for Citi News.
A very sad story there from Adan. From one accident to another, this one is happening in Accra, also to be specific, and a young man has been left injured and other properties destroyed after a mast fell on a house at Osudoku North in the Korle-Klottey municipality after strong winds amidst rains on Saturday morning. Citi Newsroom's Anshel Ziwu has more.
The strong winds which accompanied Saturday's morning rains caused the mast to collapse and destroyed some houses and cars at Osudoku North in the Korle-Klottey municipality. A middle-aged man who was in one of the houses sustained injuries as a result of the situation. The victim was rushed to the Snit hospital but was discharged some hours later. The incident has left residents traumatized. Here's a resident narrating the occurrence to Citi News.
It was around 6:15 this morning, yeah. But prior to that, it's always been a concern to me, the way this mosque is right behind the house, and it's, I think that they don't maintain it very well. They will just come paint it sometime. And I know that these masks, they have lifespans that after a while you need to, do some major maintenance. They don't do any of those things. And I don't think they have gone through the right channels to actually put this mask here, because I know the standards are that you don't put it at prime areas where people live. So I think, this all boils down to the fact that things have to be done properly, because right now there are lots of lives, a lot of properties have been damaged, life and property. The guy in this apartment, one of the bricks hit his head. We had to send him to the Snit hospital before he came back. 2 cars, this car, the car just to my right is completely flattened. Everything about it, it's destroyed. And then this Pajero right in front of us, which also works. Now it looks like the mask has fallen on it, and the mask is still on the building. With the weight and all that, there's still some amount of risk involved.
The residents are thus asking for compensation, while insisting that the mast should be relocated.
This mask, I was young before this mask was put up. That should give you an understanding of how long it has been. And from the video evidence that I took, you realize that it's rusted at so many places. So my take on this is that going forward, something like this shouldn't be put here. I think that the standard is that you put it at places where people don't live, and then you are ensuring safety and proper ethical standards. Yeah, I mean, lives and properties have been threatened and damaged. So clearly, I mean, times are hard, and they need to compensate the victims of this disaster. I wouldn't call it a natural disaster. I'll call it negligence leading to avoidable events that, it shouldn't happen that way. If they hadn't been negligent, because I've seen them come here and the kind of maintenance they do is shoddy. It's very, very shoddy. So yes, there needs to be compensation for those people who are involved.
The owners of the mast, Giant International, who acknowledged the situation, promised to salvage the situation. The Korle-Klottey National Disaster Management Organization director, who visited the scene with his team to evaluate the situation, also spoke to Citi News.
Well, we have come to do our initial assessment. We are here to draw conclusion on the assessment. But the incident is resulted out of the windstorm at dawn of today, and we have seen that it has affected some properties already, some vehicles and buildings and other personal effects and stuff. And you see, we went to the back to have a look at the mast itself. We realized that it didn't break, but it's bent. You see, so it tells that the wind, the strength of the wind forced it to bend towards this side. We're just thankful to God that there is no casualty per se, but all the affected persons, i.e. those who have lost their properties as a result of this and all that, should exercise patience. The owners of the mast have owned up, and they are ready, per my information, ready to sort out all these things. The works engineer have contacted someone to come and deal with it. He's going to come in with a cutter, metal cutter, to come and cut them into sections and get them removed.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Ansheli Zero.
From the Greater Accra region, let's take you to the Ashanti region, where its capital, Kumasi, has recorded yet another fire incident, which has led to the total destruction of 2 studios belonging to Kumasi-based Silver FM. The incident, which occurred on Saturday morning, caused a destruction of all studio equipment, and as such, the radio station has been shut down. Citi News' bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Oponmafo, has more.
Silver FM employs a lot of people. A lot of journalists and even other people who play diverse roles. But with this incident and the extent of it, many of these persons have been affected. We're here to speak to the news editor to tell us what really happened.
Oh, actually, the incident occurred earlier this morning. The presenter who was on duty at that particular time said it happened around the air conditioning unit and extended to this place and then the other studio, including the main production studio.
So what's the extent of damage so far? What items have been affected?
Oh, for now, all the electrical appliances have been raised down, including the tactical board, the touch screen, then the main console, Oxygen 9. It's very expensive. And then we have, I think, 4 or 5 cameras in the studio, and one is almost 100,000. The others, I think they are more than 100,000, and they've all been burnt into ashes. You can see for yourself.
So now what's the way forward? You work here, and your colleagues as well. How do you feel? The Bant Mahine is the owner of this place. What is he also telling you? What's going on?
Bro, I'm just sad, because this is where I work. This is where I feed my family from. And for now, I can't say when we are, coming back. Currently, the management is in a crunch meeting, discussing, the way forward of the company. So we have to wait for the management to know. For now, maybe when we are supposed to come back, on air.
Fire officers have commenced investigations into this incident, but for those who work here, they do not know when they are going to return. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Kumasi.
Now, the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament is set to summon the Energy Commission over the ban on the importation of used electrical appliances into the country. The committee bemoans that it was not consulted on the move during the presentation of a petition to the committee by the concerned Second-Hand Dealers Association of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. The committee announced the need for a stakeholder engagement to deal with concerns emanating from the ban. Citi News' Ni Aikwe Okain has more.
The Energy Commission announced a ban on the importation of some substandard electrical appliances and renewable energy products effective November 2, 2022. The products banned by the Energy Commission include air conditioners, rice cookers, television sets, comfort fans, and clothes washing machines, among other products. The Energy Commission explained that the ban is to prevent Ghana from becoming a desirable destination for substandard and used appliances, and also to save the economy by reducing electricity demand, which necessitates additional generation capacity with its associated fuel cost. The Commission also explained that the ban is to protect the environment and safeguard the health of citizens from air pollution caused by increased power generation, and to protect the consumer from purchasing unsuitable appliances and the payment of unnecessarily high electricity bills. The Commission urged the general public, particularly importers of electrical appliances as well as prospective manufacturers, to take note and not import such products. But a group by name the Concerned Second-Hand Dealers Association under the Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) bemoans that such move would affect the livelihood of over 100,000 traders of such appliances. The group petitioned the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament on the matter.
If you even say use that term, is it something that have been used for 6 months that is being sold to another person? Or is it the efficacy of the product itself? Because from what they were talking about, they meant the efficacy of the thing. And a product that ensures the efficiency of the electrical energy consumption in this country. And that they also admit that new products also, some of them do not have the required components that ensure energy efficiencies. So we did not agree at any point that we are going to ban the so-called used product. What we have established was that we have to use every means to disallow unwholesome products, goods that have hazardous effect on the environment and all that from coming in, whether new or old. This is what have been established. And we said that then you can use science to decipher what is good to come in and what is not good to come in, regardless of the age. It cannot be said that an industry that employs directly about 100,000 and indirectly about 200,000, and the people who depend on them should go home hungry because they have brought what they call second-hand goods.
There should have been extensive stakeholder engagement by Energy Commission before the LI was passed.
Yes.
More especially the Committee of Mines and Energy. We are a major stakeholder. As good as the intention might be,
Yes.
knowledge does not reside in only one person. And when you engage broadly and extensively, it brings about acceptability.
Yes.
So one issue has to do with extensive consultation. And I brought to the chairman's attention that I thought that this committee in particular should have been consulted. The second one has to do with the time period. Normally when you're implementing policy, you would allow a grace period. You don't apply policy when it comes to a ban abruptly. You would want to say that we would implement this policy in, say, 1 year, in 2 years, so that it doesn't disrupt people's economic activities. It allows people the opportunity to transition. Everybody would like to have a brand new item. I mean, if all of us had the opportunity, even when it comes to these vehicles we are talking about, I would prefer a brand new Mercedes-Benz to a second-hand. But sometimes the means, I think that this committee should invite Energy Commission to also hear from them.
Certainly.
We are an independent arbiter. Ours is to serve the people who elected us into office, but we also want the right thing to be done. I'm sure that when we move that way, we can find a common ground so that there will be a win-win situation.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for Citi News.
Now, the National Democratic Congress NDC says filing of nomination for parliamentary candidate hopefuls in the constituencies with sitting NDC MPs began on Saturday, 18th March, instead of Monday, 20th March, which was earlier declared. According to the chairman of the Elections Committee and Director of Communication of the party, Kakrai Samoa, the revision of the date is to afford all sitting MPs vying to be parliamentary candidates to file their nominations early. There's more in the following report by Citi News' Philip Ni Lati.
A total of 872 individuals have picked up forms to contest for parliamentary candidate positions in various constituencies. The parliamentary candidate hopefuls are expected to file their nomination forms, which is the next stage of the exercise. Though the filing was supposed to commence on Monday, 20th March, the Elections Committee of the NDC says the exercise will begin from Saturday, 18th March, for constituencies with sitting NDC MPs. This is in accordance with the directive from the NDC that sitting MPs should suspend campaign activities in their constituencies with immediate effect. The party has also barred its MPs from travelling in a bid to get the numbers required to fight against the Electoral Commission's proposed constitutional instrument, CI, for elections 2024. Chairman of the Elections Committee, Kakra Isamwa, says the revision of the date for the filing of nomination forms in some selected constituencies is to ensure that sitting NDC MPs do not miss parliamentary activities. He, however, added that filing of nomination forms in orphan constituencies will begin on Monday, 20th March.
As at the time we closed nominations on, I think, 24th February, am I right? 872 persons, both men and women, have picked nomination forms, which hopefully they will fill and present to us from the 18th, that is tomorrow, to the 22nd of March. Originally, it was for Monday to Wednesday, that is 20th to 22nd. But we've brought it back a bit, 18th to 20th, because of certain members of parliament whom we have directed, not when I say we, I don't mean myself, I mean the party leadership, directed not to leave parliamentary work and go and campaign and stay till the end of the session, which is 31st March. So we are giving them a period, 18th to 20th, which is not sitting days for parliament, so that they can go and do their filing. And the party leadership does these things in consultation with those who are concerned. And they came to this consensus. So this is something that is suitable for them. Yes, but for where in constituencies where the NDC is not represented in parliament, the deadline is still 22nd March.
Okay, so for the constituencies that the NDC MP isn't there, that is an orphan constituency.
Exactly. No, where orphan constituency to be 20th to 22nd. But where we have certain NDC MPs is 18th to 20th.
Kakra Isamwa further noted that all flag bearer hopefuls will file their nomination forms from 20th to 22nd March.
The presidential will start on Monday and end on Wednesday. There are only 4 people who have picked their nomination form. So within those 3 days, I am sure all of them will come and file those nomination forms and pay the nomination fee. And that will be it. I'll be very surprised if there's any misunderstanding, because all of them are very much aware of the rules and they need to present ourselves as a credible alternative. The NDC now is the government in waiting, because we know what has happened to the economy. We know what has happened to even our values and our morals. This society and this country is now upside down because of the uselessness of the Akufo-Addo government. So we know that we have a duty to stand up straight the day that we are going to file our nominations, and we will not disappoint Ghanaians.
The Elections Committee of the National Democratic Congress says that the date for the filing of nomination forms for parliamentary candidates has been revised. According to the committee, the exercise begins from Saturday, the 18th to Wednesday, the 22nd March 2023. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Philip Ni Latte.
And here in our studios in Tesano in Accra, I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. You're watching Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still ahead. Stakeholders worried as Ghana labeled among 36 African countries to soon face health worker shortage due to international migration. We have that story and more coming up. Please stay with us.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back to Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Now, the World Health Organization, WHO, has revealed in its latest report that Ghana, Nigeria, and some 35 African countries are at risk facing health worker shortage. This, according to the health body, is due to the prevalence of these countries losing their health workers to international migration. Stakeholders have, however, called on government to take the report by the WHO seriously and act swiftly. Citi News' Akosia Otre has more in this report.
Immigration of medical practitioners from Ghana continues to deplete the country of much-needed human resources. In recent times, there has been a surge in the number of health workers, including medical doctors, leaving the country to seek greener pastures. But why have these workers within the health sector decided to leave Ghana to wealthier countries to better their lives?
Salary-wise, nursing in Ghana is a mystery. Currently, after every deductions, I think I get like 2,400 a month. Rent to take your salary, transportation, food. So basically the 2,400, and it's the same money I'm using to pay my fees.
In a latest report contained in the Health Workforce Support and Safeguards List 2023, released by the World Health Organization, it revealed that 55 countries in the world, including Ghana, would not be able to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goal target by 2030 due to health workers rapidly seeking for better opportunities abroad. This has been attributed to the adverse effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on these countries, but stakeholders such as the Ghana Federation of Labour believe COVID-19 can solely not be blamed for reasons why health workers in Ghana are migrating.
One, the report is instructive. Two, is also very disturbing. That we are lacking, we have serious deficit with both attraction and retention. In that, the condition of service that is given, or these medical sector workforce, are made to come under, is terrible. Look at condition of service from appointment to retirement, their salaries on the single spine, compared to Article 71 office holders who are being decorated with high-level compensation packages. Again, you're looking at periodic adjustment. Last 3 years, those on the single spine had 7% pay rise, and others have 4% pay rise. In the same time when the Article 71 office holders hoping 70% pay rise. Listen, if my wife is working in the health sector as a nurse, and she comes to tell me, look, there has an opportunity outside, and which is giving A, B, C, D, F, G, and H, you think I'll tell her not to go, considering what is happening here?
The Ghana Medical Association has been speaking on the trends and contends there are genuine challenges confronting the sector.
This is a trend that we should be concerned about. But the issue with the health sector is quite peculiar. If you take the numbers now, it's even worse than that. So we are losing more than 60% of our doctors that we are training to this outside world, and the nurses are even worse. They are going more than the doctors. Everybody is in dire straits. We all need to be taken care of. Teachers are very important. The other workers are so important. But the issue with the health sector is quite peculiar.
Government is being accused of not addressing the challenges and has been advised to take pragmatic steps to improve the working conditions of health workers with immediate effect.
The health sector is seriously confronted with massive neglect by government, which occasions a certain response. And that is why they are migrating to other places. That we are aware that the government of Ghana is currently negotiating the export of nurses to some developed countries. Negotiations are ongoing. I mean, giddy. So if government of Ghana, in the midst of WHO report, why is government encouraging the export of this category of employees? I want to look at political parties involved to have a national conversation about this report and the dangers it poses to us.
For Citi News, Akosi Autre.
Now, the Sisala East Municipal Health Directorate in the Upper West Region wants an urgent intervention to address the deplorable nature of health facilities in the area. The District Director of Health Services, addressing various stakeholders in Tumu, decried that over 60% of health facilities in the area are in such a deplorable state and are thus unable to store essential drugs and childhood vaccines for efficient healthcare delivery. Citi News' Latif Mahama has more.
The Sisala East Municipal Health Service has over the years been adjudged as the overall best performing district among the 11 districts in the Upper West region. According to the 2022 Holistic Health Review, the district is considered as a high-performing zone, scoring more than 80% in the 92 health sector indicators. With 100% CHIPS functionality, the Sisala East municipality has 52 CHIPS zones, thus ensuring that patients do not travel far distances to access healthcare services. Health officials in the district, however, say the deplorable nature of some health facilities in the district, coupled with inadequate doctors and other critical health staff, is derailing the gains, as most of them do not have storage facilities to preserve their medicines. The Sisala East District Director of Health Services, addressing various stakeholders at their annual Holistic Health Review meeting, says there is an urgent need to address the infrastructural gap to sustain the gains made in the district.
Over 60% of facilities are in very deplorable states, require rehabilitation works. A lot of our facilities have depreciated in their loops and need to be facelifted. Over 50% of CHIPS compounds operate without potable water. 6 CHIPS compounds are not connected to national grids, affecting service delivery in the areas of vaccine storage and 9 calls. A call to the municipal assembly. Close to 50%, specifically 23 out of 52 CHIPS zones, have no toilet facilities for both staff and then clients. Protracted shortage of ready-to-use therapeutic foods for the management of Tema cases. Shortage of some vaccines for the period under review. No network connectivity in about 20 health facilities affecting service delivery, particularly in the area of generation of National Health Insurance Scheme, CCC, monthly report entries, and then referrals.
Citi News checks at some health facilities, including the district hospital, confirmed the situation. This is the children's ward at the district hospital. The facility has been abandoned due to life-threatening structural defects with leaking roofings. A nurse in charge of the pediatric unit complained that the situation is having a toll on healthcare delivery, as children are now compelled to receive treatment in a crowded ward where the unit is now relocated to.
Sometimes you'll be sitting down before you realize the bulbs start blasting themselves. Then one day we were sitting here, we could see water dripping down to the floor. As if that was not enough, we saw that the whole building was caving in, as you can see. During the period of, let me say, September, which is one of our peak season, we don't do cleaning in the water. They don't mop because the whole place is congested. You can't even walk. Sometimes when you're even talking to patients, you can't hear them. The whole place is very noisy. So, and I think one of it to our profession is that it contributes to medical negligence, because once you put patients together, they can have that kind of maybe exchange of drugs and what have you, and even cross infections. Because if I come here with malaria, but before I go home, I'll get skin infection, because we are all pairing the same. And even as it is now, the world's supposed to put all patients together, because we have certain conditions that we use to sectionalize them. Like this room, if a child happens to have something, an infectious disease like TB and what have you, that doesn't need to be combined with other patients. If you have chicken pox and what have you. But here's the case, you have not even gotten the space, you have to just put them together.
The Member of Parliament for Sisala East, Amidu Chinya Isagu, presented an ambulance to the Wolmbele Polyclinic as part of his efforts to improve healthcare delivery in the district.
Care will be one of the priority areas I'll be working around to see how I can make sure that the healthcare of my people is taken care of. And as you know, the Wolmbele Polyclinic is the second biggest health facility in the constituency. And also because the Sisala East is a vast area. I mean, from here to Tumu is a long distance. And from here, even towards Nabulobo, Wesubele, it's quite distant. And so for somebody to move from Nabulo or Gosi to Tumu, it's quite a distance. So this catchment area, the Wolmbele catchment area, certainly deserves a facility that can take care of the people within this catchment area. The Wolmbele Health Center has been upgraded to a polyclinic, and with the upgrading, it must come with certain facilities. An ambulance is one of them, so that anybody with healthcare issues around the Wolmbele catchment area, the ambulance can quickly go and pick the person and bring the person to the Wolmbele Polyclinic.
The annual Holistic Health Review meeting, which was under the theme Improving Health System Financing and Support, Critical to Effective Health Service Delivery, was a platform to review the performance of the past year and to plan for the ensuing year.
In spite of the successes chalked by the Sisala East Municipal Health Directorate, the district hospital here in Tumu is being confronted with a myriad of challenges. Authorities here are thus appealing to the government to come to their aid. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Latif Mahama, Tumu.
Let's move to some other stories now. And the Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chum Berima, has taken a swipe at the National Identification Authority (NIA) on comments that over 600,000 of the printed Ghana cards remain uncollected. The MP says the NIA must be proactive in the distribution of cards to enhance moves by the Electoral Commission to rely on it as a sole document for registration onto the voters' register for the 2024 elections.
The National Identification Authority (NIA) expressed worry over the bulk of Ghana cards at the NIA offices across the country. The NIA revealed that there are over 600,000 Ghana cards which have been printed and sitting in the offices because the recipients have either refused or are challenged to come for them. The NIA, however, admitted that there are some challenges with distributing the cards to the recipients in the hinterlands, hence appealed to government to provide them with vehicles to support their movement to the remote areas. Speaking to journalists, the Member of Parliament for Doma East, who is also a member of the Majority Caucus in Parliament, Paul Chum Berima, says the NIA need to be proactive in the distribution of the cards to aid plans by the Electoral Commission to rely on the Ghana card as the sole document for registration onto the voters' register for the upcoming polls.
I think NIA must be up and doing. NIA is now the pivot that we are all revolving around in terms of our voter registration. But if NIA is always talking about money, then it's a problem. When NIA came to Parliament, NIA told us that by the year 2024, we're going to have 19 million people being at the age of voting. NIA said they have registered and issued 17 million cards. However, they have over 640 seated in their office that no one is coming for it. They have about 500 that they are yet to print. That is okay. 500,000 over. Now, with the 600 that is seated in there, is NIA telling us that if they come to Daily Graphic, they come to Joy FM, they come to Citi FM, to tell that we want to tell the people that these cars are with us. These are the areas that you can get these cars. Are they telling that people will not go there for it? Let's tell the NIA people to be serious. You have 640 cars sitting there, 640,000 cars sitting there, and you are telling us that it's about money. When you really don't know how you distribute the 640,000 that you have, they should come up with a proper plan and tell us how are we going to get the people, the 640,000, to get hold of their cars. They should not cause us to be granting, going back and forth when they are supposed to do certain things. That is not about money. Yes, everything is because the country is everything. Oh, we need money, we need money, we need. How do you need money? How do you need money for somebody to come and collect a card?
You're watching Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still ahead on the bulletin. Government defends decision to reintroduce road tolls, saying the new policy has been well thought through. We have that story coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Jamila Home, a signature business that houses the most luxurious antique and contemporary furniture. We stock presidential, royal, ministerial, and executive furniture with complimentary decor. We have a wide selection of beautifully maintained pieces, such as the amazing Windsor chairs, with one of the largest choices of genuine Regency and Victorian dining furniture, which once stood for England's finest craftsmanship. Renowned across the world for its luxurious and detailed features, alongside a brilliant blend of Italian contemporary Versace royal set in absolute elegance. Visit our website www.jamilahome.com. Contact us via phone call and WhatsApp on 0302 437 228 and 0205 555 525. We are located at 13 Westland Boulevard, Accra. Jamila Home, your first and best furniture showroom in Ghana and the world.
You're welcome back to Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Now, the government has defended the reintroduction of the collection of road tolls, stating that it was a well-planned decision. This comes after criticism that the transition back to the policy was flawed and carried out hastily. The following report, filed by Daniel Odromens of the Citi Newsroom and read by my colleague Neti Ajaho Small.
In the 2022 budget statement and economic policy, government indicated that it had abolished the collection of tolls on public roads and bridges due to heavy traffic jams generated at the booths, pollution, and lengthened travel time. The move brought about the displacement of several road toll collectors who shared their frustrations. Fast forward on March 14, 2023, government disclosed that it had revised the schedules of the Fees and Charges Act to commence the collection of tolls on some roads pending the identification of roads from the Ministry of Roads and Highways. The Ministry of Finance has since submitted a proposal of the rates for the road tolls to the Ministry of Roads and Highways pending its consideration. This sparked mixed reactions from the public, with many describing it as a knee-jerk reaction. However, government disagrees.
I think people had issues with the way and manner it was removed. That is where I've heard people have issues with, especially when people said, oh, maybe there was a rush and how it was removed overnight and all of that. Yeah, that's I've heard people, but I'm yet to hear anybody raise an issue with road toll. What people are proposing rather is the systems that will be put in place to ensure convenience. So I've heard people advocate and make recommendations for several ways they believe can be done so that this will be a bit more, convenient. That's what I've heard people say, but I'm yet to hear anybody say that, oh, it hasn't been thought through. Road tolls has always been with us. Road tolls have been with us all these years, and something that one of the things people hardly complain about is payment. What people complain about is the stress and the inconveniences, the vehicular traffic, all the challenges that it causes at the point of payment. And that is what the issue is.
On the other hand, a road and building consultant, engineer Abdullah Mahama, believes adequate arrangements must be put in place before the reintroduction of the policy.
The hawkers who are still plying their trade within those sections will come back. The forces do not prevent them from coming to the. So we're going to have this vehicular and pedestrian conflict, which will drastically slow the movement of vehicles in the said location. The abandoned structures are dilapidated. Some of them have been broken down by a moving vehicle. So government have to, as a matter of urgency, bring them up to speed before they can resume the operations of the toll. The various kiosks or the wooden structure that we see at some locations of the toll must be removed and be properly and then they have better structures put in place so that we will not have the accident that we recorded at the later stage before the tolls were cancelled. And if government intend to go digital, I'm not sure that they can do that in about a quarter of a year. So if either government suspends the resumption of the toll and adequately addresses all these challenges by installing gantries, having the digitized cameras, and synchronizing our vehicles with the DVLA data, whatever it is, so that at least we can have a smooth transition at the toll sessions and reducing a lot of the human interference as well.
Now, former President John Agyekum Kufuor says that teaming youth must be trained to be transformational leaders in society. According to President Kufuor, Ghana needs solution-minded people who can work to restore the country's economy. The former president was speaking at the graduation and induction of Kufuor Scholars Program under the auspices of the Jack Foundation. There's more in this report.
Many schools of thought have attributed Ghana's economic woes to poor leadership, mismanagement of national resources, and the lack of a long-term development plan. For some stakeholders, the upcoming youth who will in the future pick up roles in government must be reoriented and conscientized and to stop the current trend, which will later bring development. The Jack Foundation, which is chaired by the former president of Ghana, John Agyekum Kufuor, has in time past been helping in this regard. One of its projects, the Kufuor Scholars Program, has been providing a specialized 3-year transformational leadership program. The program targets level 100 students in Ghanaian universities to prepare them to do exploits. Speaking at the graduation and induction of some scholars of the 2022 and 2023 batches, The chairperson of the foundation, former President John Agyekum Kufuor, charged the youth to be innovative and problem solvers in their respective fields of endeavor.
We must sort of set up the scholars, foundation scholars, to nurture them especially so they become the living agencies to fashion the idea, give practical, tangible reality to the vision and principles for the other youth, the teeming youth. Because I always say that for every one of the scholars, you might have over 100,000 of their generation who would not be so privileged to even see the insides of a university campus and who might be left, say, in the rural parts of the country.
In all, 30 individuals have been selected to participate in the 2023 edition of the program, which will have scholars trained for 3 years.
I would want to observe that definitely the foundation is for leadership, governance, and development generally. I would admit that the vision and perhaps the basic principles, no doubt, came from me. But it's one thing having a vision and even having principles. But it's yet another thing realizing the vision and the principles. And I can't claim that in terms of realizing vision, actualizing the principles, I have done it. No, I believe that's why we have got the CEO of the foundation. The foundation was set up to be sort of independent, to be an independent institution. And I think the credit should go to the managers of the foundation who have toiled over the past years to put detail and practicality into realizing the vision.
Well, that would be it for Citi Newsroom on Citi TV from our studios. Go to our website, citinewsroom.com, because we have more stories there for you. Subscribe to Citi Tube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from Citi TV. You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 182. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. Thank you for watching.
Oh, this smells good.
The trap.
For the last part?